All right, guys. Mike Tromello here, along with Daniel Tromello. We're on the second episode of the Tromello Brothers podcast. We got a pretty awesome guest today that I'm going to let Daniel introduce. Dan, who are we with today?
We're with Ash Sobhe. So, Ash, I'm really excited to have you on the show.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy you're here. I know you live down the road, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Convenience.
So, very convenient.
So here's what I wanted to do today, if it's good with you guys. I wanted to relate everything around fitness as much as we can, but I want to talk about it a little bit bigger. I want to talk about personal finance, I want to talk about happiness, and I want to really talk about how fitness has a big deal to that. And by the end of it, if I may claim, I think we'll definitely give everybody today the key to absolute, utter happiness forever, as long as we can stick to the program.
That's what this show's about, baby, so I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
But I met you a couple months ago.
That's true.
Right? We had lunch a couple months ago, and I was sitting there, I was telling, I think I told you this at the time, I was like, I just had lunch with this dude, and my mind is blown right now. And he's like,
he called me up. yeah. And you guys understand something about our dynamic, Ash, is that we're opposite in so many ways. Like, I hate, and then don't get this the wrong way, I hate the rah-rah shit. I hate the fact that what he goes to every year is called the Wealth Bowl. Drives me crazy. It's not me at all. I'm the complete opposite about that, but we always see eye to eye when it comes to influences, and I'm like, well, why? And he started telling me this incredible story, but he couldn't even explain to me because he said, I had to hear it from you. Yeah. So I was like, okay, all right.
Well, my way is very, very unorthodox because I'm not the rah-rah type. Like, I grew up completely introverted. I don't even really like to be famous. Like, what I do for social media is, like, we have an agency of 30 employees that we dabble in artificial intelligence, but I don't feel comfortable being out and about. The only reason what I do now is that I just feel like I've found one or two ways that really work for me, and the more people I talk to, the more I feel like it resonates with them too, right? So my goal is to really, honestly, truly, actually not teach anything to anyone. I've just figured out a way for me to actually unteach and unlearn some of the stuff that I feel like it was put on me by other things that made me unhappy, right? Like, for example, I was told that, hey, you're introverted, right? It's not a concept that I came up with, right? If I was born, it's not like I would come up with that word, right? But once somebody else told me I was introverted, it really affected my fitness, right? Because now I don't feel like I need to be out and about. Now I'm not really out in the sun. Now I'm not really lifting weights. I'm not really chopping down wood. I'm kind of becoming more and more hunched down, listening, even podcasts, right? Through my earphone, right? And kind of getting on the computer all the time. We have two muscles. I don't know a lot of people know this or not. We have two muscles on the outer eye, and we have two muscles on the inner eye, right? It's just that's what controls how far you can see or how close you can see, right? So when you're looking at close all the time, when we're looking at our phones all the time, these two get pulled tremendously, and these two don't get as much as a workout, right? So even the fitness of these muscles is so important, right? At some point, that started to actually affect my thinking too.
Yeah. And so, and we're having lunch, and so I want to kind of touch on your story for a second, because it's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard about someone's life. Like, speaking, we're like the same age. Yeah, like today's my birthday.
Yes, by the way, it's Daniel's birthday today. Happy birthday, Daniel.
But we're about the same age. But tell me, like,
so you're 60.
Yeah, 62. So where'd you grow up exactly?
So my father left the United States in the 70s, and then I was born in Iran, Tehran, right? And we traveled a lot. So we would, for example, my father was in the import-export business, right? So he would, for example, be stationed at or going to work at Germany for a while. If he'd stayed there for a little bit of time, he would typically want to take us there too, kind of show us around. So I ended up spending some time in Germany for a couple of years. I ended up spending about a year in the UK. We spent some time in Malaysia, Singapore, Dubai, New York, and we would always go back.
You grew up all over.
A little bit, yeah.
There was no, like...
Extremely well-traveled.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but for the past 14 years, I've been right here in Southern California.
Where'd you go to high school?
So, which time?
I don't know.
The high school I actually graduated from was Beverly Hills High School, the last high school I went to. Right. My father was big in education. He got 2 bachelors, 2 masters, and a PhD. But, at some point, he just couldn't afford really good schools for us. So he basically made the decision to basically get the smallest, cheapest apartment he could possibly find, and so we can have that zip code so we can go to Beverly High and hopefully get a little bit of a better education.
Right. Now, you're mentioning artificial intelligence. Explain what the hell that is. Like, what kind of artificial intelligence?
So I want to relate this again to most people out here, because to be totally honest with you, I don't feel comfortable so much talking about me, and quite frankly, like, who cares about me? I want
Right.
to really talk about other people because I want to make sure you, at the end of the day, understand how to tap in your potential energy so that way you're not really bombarded with pressure. You can get rid of anxiety and so on and so forth, and hopefully you can have a healthier, happier body too. So AI is basically the study of human beings, and that's what I do. So one of the reasons why I figured out, hopefully, the game of life and how it's played and how I can always, hopefully, be happy forever is because I study the human mind all the time. Mm-hmm. What we do with artificial intelligence is we try to study, let's say, Mike, and figure out what contributes to his decision-making pattern. In our belief, there are only two things in your brain that happen, right? There are only two chemicals. And if you really, truly want to think about life, it's just a brain chemistry game, right? Okay. Mind you this. Right. You either produce a lot of anxiety in your brain, or you produce dopamine or serotonin, right, which is happiness, right? So you're either, oh my God, there's a lion coming after me, let me jump and let me just survive, right. Or, oh my God, I just got a kill and that's amazing, we're just going to have a feast, right? And those are the two things. Yeah. So somebody should actually look up how long human beings have been alive, right? I think we've been on a planet, or our planet's been around, I believe, for over 2 million years, if I'm not mistaken. So there's something to evolution. There's something that was natural about how we were growing up, right? For the past so many hundreds of thousands of years, we've been out and about working out our bodies, right? What happened after the 60s? How did we change?
People got into technology, imagine, and people more sedentary.
Correct.
Right.
We had an industrial revolution, right? Mm-hmm. So you're not out and about really using your brain as a healthy tool, or you're really working out your body. Henry Ford will be like, no, stand here in the assembly line, just hold this wrench and do this motion all day long. Yeah. You don't need to think. You don't even have to make money anymore. Yeah. I will actually decide how much you need to get paid. Yeah. And that's what I'm against. The biggest thing that I'm here for, I think, is that I want to show people freedom, complete freedom, to do whatever the hell you want. And if you are free to do what you want to do, you're not even really working out, right? Mm-hmm. You want a good workout, for example, model? Instead of having a gym that everybody has to work in at, possibly maybe we can have 1 or 2 programs also on the side that says, hey, if you want to work out, let's build a playground for autistic kids. So that way you're really working and actually doing something good and also positively affecting something else, right? And I believe that that's kind of like what the whole system is about, the whole ecosystem.
That's cool. You've been around the country, you've been around the world, so you kind of seen a little bit of how much of American's different. I mean, you've been here 14 years. Do you think American culture is less, I guess, like less physical, or like exercise is less than, I don't know, let's say, something other country you live in? Like, is it more of a, like, we talk about how obese you Americans are? Right. From what you've seen, is that same?
To be honest, no. I think it's actually the same. I think on some statistics, when we're actually looking at just digits, we feel like everybody's so different, right? But when we look at a little bit more closely, we realize they're not that different, right? So in a study, we were looking at, let's say, the difference between us and chimpanzees. We feel like as human beings, there's a world of difference. There's no way a chimpanzee can actually program or have a security or have Congress and so on and so forth. That's just ridiculous, right? So we're so far ahead. But as far as our DNA goes, we're about 1% difference.
Right. Very close.
Between us and a banana, there's only 2% difference, right?
Is that right?
Yeah. How crazy is that?
I didn't know that at all. That's
so
crazy.
I don't think there's a huge difference between...
He likes bananas.
Was it the protein?
Yeah. No, he's always like...
Well, actually, there's no protein.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Calcium.
So is it...
Carbohydrate, calcium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
what's it good for?
Yeah. Good for cramps. Good for...
okay.
It's carb.
Okay.
Carb. Yeah. I mean, not too many details to it.
Yeah, it's a simple thing.
Yeah, simple thing.
But like growing up playing sports.
Yeah, I just like bananas. Yeah, they help with cramping. This guy was a massive cramper growing up.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of football days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Posted some stuff today.
I used to get
some pics.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I used to get nasty cramps.
All the time. We had a separate, when he was in college.
Well, here's how uneducated I was. Literally before a game, this is just totally crazy. I think about it now.
Oh, he's an idiot. I remember that, yeah.
God. Before a football game, and you're about to I would drink a Red Bull
and have a Subway.
And go to Subway.
That's just the worst. He was like, hey,
I'm doing that long ago.
I want to play really, really well today. I'm just going to put chemicals in my body.
By halftime, I was
cramping so bad.
And I was like, I don't know why I'm cramping. I look at it now, I'm like, that's the stupidest
thing.
We
had a separate Gatorade container when he was in college just for him and his cramping with extra electrolytes, stuff in it for cramping.
But people eat that stuff, eat that stuff every day.
Right.
Well, Jared said Subway was good for you. And then he molested children.
Yeah.
So that's...
Here's my belief. I feel like if it's not really part of Earth, if it's just new, right, we're just not going to react to it, right? So there's something interesting about bananas. They've been around, we're used to them, so our bodies have actually gotten used to it, right? It's just like anything else. So if you're introducing sodas, if you're introducing Subways, or a lot of processed food, that was what was causing a lot of my health issues, because I was overweight, I was completely like not taking care of my body, I was really into entrepreneurship and the business thing and so on and so forth.
And that's kind of great. Where did you start, right? So like, you started the company, right? Did you start right away doing? So I'm going to get into marketing right now.
No.
How did it evolve and what you?
So I basically needed to make money just to survive, because, you know, obviously just like everybody else, we had bills to pay, and I was younger, and I really wanted to be out in the workforce and have my own freedom and so on and so forth. So let me start with right when I actually got serious about it, which was about 18 years of age, right?
Right.
So I basically started helping people out with whatever skills I had at the time, because I only have the skills I have. If I've got a tool, if I'm a tall guy and I can grab things from the top shelf and other people can't, maybe that's my skill and that's how I can make money, right? So I was good with computers. A bunch of people just like around me needed things with computers, and I would always say, "Oh, you have a cell phone. Do you know how to do that? Do you know how?" Like, for example, back in the day, a lot of people would actually always call people's numbers. So I would volunteer at a church, and I would say, "Hey, did you know you have a contacts list there? And you can actually save the phone number." Right? So as I would teach them that stuff, they would at some point feel obligated enough to either buy me a meal or maybe pay me some money. So my secret to making literally millions of dollars, I've actually sold about $2 billion worth of products in my career.
That's insane,
dude. It sounds insane. And I only say that just to brag, because I want to kind of let everybody know like how good my quote-unquote human body is in business. But if you rise yourself a little bit above that, you realize the game, right? And that's what I assume everybody hopefully is willing to do here too. I want you to have enough things so you can go around and say, hey, I sold $2 billion, right? Just because that adds to your value, right?
What were you selling? So
people's products.
You were selling other people's products.
Anything that was good. So
really?
I would, for example, look around and say, okay, what's wrong with my microwave? Who's the best microwave company? And then I would call them. And I would say, hey, my name is so-and-so, and I think you can actually market yourself a lot better because you actually have a superior product, in my opinion. Am I wrong? And if I make, represent you, I'll do X amount of work for you for free. If you liked it, pay me. If you didn't like it, you don't have to pay me at all.
No way.
Because I had nothing to lose anyway, right? I was trying to survive anyway. And it was, especially here in America too, you survive easily. There's Section 8, there's like food stamps, there's like unemployment. It's just crazy. So as human beings, it's not like it was 100 years ago. If you don't hunt, if you don't have enough food, you're going to starve to death. So it's pretty secure. And,
So you call them up and say, let me market your product. Yeah. I can get out there. And how would you market it? How did you kind of...
However I could. I would basically, for example, figure out who their competitors were going after, and that's what I would do.
Right.
Super, super simple stuff.
Right.
I would act very stupid, right? I would say, okay, who are the top 3 competitors? What's the number 1 competitor doing? Because chances are the number 1 competitor is doing more than everybody else.
It's doing better, yeah, probably, right?
So I would copy everything that number 1 was doing. Literally everything they were doing.
Okay.
But number 2 would also probably, chances were, was doing 1 or 2 things that number 1 was not doing. Chances were number 3 was also doing 1 or 2 things that number 1 or 2 haven't thought about. So if I combine everything that the top 3, 4, 5 had done, I virtually created myself a monopoly. Does that make sense? And I don't have to be smart. I just had to look at what they're doing, literally just imitate what they're doing.
So that's crazy. It's just there's so many, like, there's people on live right now just trying to figure out, like, what's my next move, or how can I help people? And there's infinite ways.
For sure.
Well, he made a really, really good point when he talked about how secure you are. Right. Because I think the biggest, and it's funny because I always think about this. The biggest issue that people have is they think they can't do it because they're not going to have any money. I was talking to someone the other day, and he goes, "I got 3 jobs, man. He's a member of mine. He's like, I'm working for this. He's a paramedic. This place, and this place, and this place. I'm like, why are you doing that? He's like, but I really want to do this. I'm like, so just do that. He goes, but I don't have enough money. I'm like, we're acting like money is the drawback, and it's not. It's just do it.
Right.
If you set yourself free, you just cut the cord. Odds are you're going to find a way. Right? You jump in the pool, you're going to find a way to swim.
For sure.
And people are just like, I'm stuck to this. I'm not going to take that risk. I'm too afraid to take that risk, and they're fearless. And like you said, like, well, I had nothing to lose. I'm just going to figure it out.
For sure.
He's the same way. He has nothing to lose. He has no kids. There's nothing. Well, what's going to happen?
100%.
You know, I mean, when I left my job, I would say almost a year and a half ago, I had a family and a wife, and I had people to support. I still did it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It was just time to go.
So you can't pick. Yeah, you can't get any. Yeah, if you're laying on the floor, it's as low as you can get.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. I think two things. Number one is that this body can only take so much, right? Yeah. I heard this from Prince EA. He basically was using an analogy. He said, let's say you had a horse, and that horse was $1 million horse. Okay. What would you feed it? Would you feed it crap food, or would you feed it good food?
Good food.
Good food.
Would you let it really beat itself up, or would you work it out and make sure it's healthy and growing just steadily?
You would make it steadily.
Yeah.
Now imagine that is only a $1 million horse. Do the math on your body. How much is a heart transplant right now? What about your kidneys? Yeah. Brothers, sisters, you are having a multi-billion-dollar machine here. How are you taking care of it? You want to talk about fitness? Let's talk about fitness.
Ash, you just took my entire spiel that I use to get people to join my gym. The other day, I was talking to people. I'm like, how much they're complaining about. My membership's $185 a month, and actually in CrossFit, that's low, but here it's expensive. And people go, $185 a month. I'm like, do the math. How much is that? $2,200 a year, $24 something a year.
Right.
Like, how much was one ER visit and a hospital night staying in the hospital? They're like $30,000. I'm like, so that's 15 years of membership. 15 years.
Not to mention the excess medical bills and diabetes.
Or you could just be fit, pay $185 a month, and probably most likely extend your lifespan and not have to go to the hospital room because you had a heart attack or had diabetes, etc.
One of the things
you're going to save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars over time.
Yeah, one of the things I talk about all the time is there's cost and there's value.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You can look at the cost, but what's the actual value you're getting out of anything? Like, what's the cost of you staying in a tough situation, and the value of it actually getting out of your situation?
Yeah,
you know, like, or kind of you got up off the floor.
Do you agree that there's a difference between cost and the price?
I think
so. At Walmart, as a millennial, if I go there and I pay $2 for that, that's the cost. That's the price.
That's the price of the product.
But the cost of it is that this big corporation gets to employ a lot of people, pay them lower wages, so low that they can't even come back and shop at the same store, and then we wonder why the ecosystem is destroyed.
That's so true.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not sustainable growth.
And this is why so many things have gone digital too.
100%.
Oh yeah, that's why Amazon's
stores are. Yeah.
Right. And Amazon is not exactly a good model either. The thing is, like, a lot of people look at Jeff Bezos and think he's very smart. He's not very smart. He's actually kind of dumb. Right? Because if he was so dumb, if he wasn't so dumb, he wouldn't just try to comply everything for himself. Because that's just not sustainable. Right?
Yeah.
I always say this, right? If you have $2 and I rob you from you $2 today, you got nothing tomorrow. Right? But if I teach you how to make $5, I can rob you for $2 every single day. Can I not?
That's very true.
So if I'm at Amazon and I'm coming to your town, if I pay the employees so well that they can actually go around shop and so on and so forth, then I create an ecosystem for me that's actually viable. Right? But then we won't have so much income equality, right? We won't have so much one person being so obese and the next person being so fit that they die on a treadmill.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge difference in how much income people make and their fitness level.
Yes.
Right.
It's unfortunate.
Yes.
It is the. You
know, I mean, I know a lot of people.
Organic food is a third of the cost more than.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
It's fitness level. That's a very good point. I have people in here that I know they are pretty well off, and they're very fit people. They have time to spend in the gym.
Right.
A lot of time.
A lot of time.
Because they're
That's the thing.
How expensive is organic food?
I think it depends on where you're going, right?
Well, I think the question Ash is getting at is it's really not.
No,
it's when you compare it to a $1 sandwich at McDonald's that organic food is really expensive.
Well, too, it's
like processed food is way cheaper.
I've always laughed about this with my wife because like we'll go to the farmer's market and we'll go and we'll buy a few things and we're always spending probably $20 or $30 more on just produce but it's like. But if I go to the store where it's grown in GMO and it's all this crap and it's more it's cheaper.
100%.
Yeah, I always laugh at this. Why does a big box store have a health section? I've always laughed about that. There's a health section in Bonds. Like this is the healthy food.
Yeah, I love where you go to Carl's Jr. It says National Burger. So what the hell is the
the other one?
Exactly.
So I think also another thing that human beings should do is grow your own vegetables.
Yeah.
Every single one of us has a backyard. Every single one of us can actually go to Trader Joe's, get a box. You could do it yourself. It's not very cheap. Right. It's really expensive if you're lazy, you don't want to do the work. Yeah. But if you actually want to do it, if you want to go to a local farmer's market, if you actually want to drive away an hour and actually make local connections with the local farmers here, you actually get so much. They give you stuff for free. Yeah. Just take the time to actually go there and say, hey, thank you, man. Really appreciate it. People in California, people in LA don't necessarily come up here and say thank you. I would just drive by one and say thank you. Right. Watch what happens. It's crazy.
Whenever I'm at the farmer's market, I feel like it's the most like common, like it's real trade. I feel like I'm like really trading currency for something. When I'm at like a store or anywhere, I feel like I'm buying something versus trading. Because it's really what we're doing is we're trading.
Trading goods.
You're trading pieces of paper for a service or a product or anything. Yeah, it's like a funny, like it kind of brings you back to where we came from in a way.
Definitely.
And that's why people that go there, they're they're healthier, they're fit, they're happier, they're outside.
They're also walking all around.
They're walking all around. Yeah. They're doing a little bit of everything.
Yes.
I wanted to talk to you about something real. Okay. On your last podcast, you said something to Daniel. If I knew I had 6 months to live right now, I would behave completely differently.
Yes, I did say that.
I want to talk to you.
Yeah, go for it.
So, about a couple of years ago, I was told I was going to only have 6 months to live, right?
Yes, so, I briefly heard of the story. But I wasn't allowed to hear the story until you told me the story.
Yeah. So, long story short, was poor, became successful, was told I was going to die, changed my way, became a lot more successful, completely found happiness. I swear to God, I make so much more money right now that is just ridiculously uncomfortable because I don't need as much as I feel like I want because I have because I feel like I get a lot more than an average person deserves. People are a lot nicer to me for whatever the hell reason than I'm used to, right? So I'm very, very blessed on that. I think that if, as an employee, you work for a company, right? They want to pay you $10, $20, $30 an hour, right? Just consider this model. What if you knew for sure this was your last hour? Because you don't know when you're going to die, right?
True. Very good point.
What if this was your last hour? Would you take $30 to die right now?
No.
So how much is that last hour worth for you?
That's a hard question. I have no idea.
So here's my dilemma. Don't beg a company to become their slaves.
Right.
Don't sell your life away for chump change. It's not worth it. Do your own thing.
Yeah.
Because every single one of us needs to get value, to use your word.
Right.
Borrow.
Right.
So if you don't know when you're going to die, and I don't know when I'm going to die, you and I are in the same boat. Yeah. I just was told I was going to die, and I'm telling you right now, Mike, you're going to die. I guarantee you, 100%.
Yes.
Right?
I got you. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's no way of getting around it. Right? We can actually walk out of here right now and die. And I know you made a comment about how it's a sad story. It's not, Mike. I swear it's not. Here's the thing. I think life is like
it. Referring to your story.
Yeah. No, right. He actually made a comment. I think last time he said, "I don't want to talk about it morbid."
Yeah.
So it's not. I want to tell everybody this because I think it's so important. Life is like a dance. If you know this song is going to end at the end of it, then you can dance all you want.
Yeah.
Right? So death doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just a transitional period. You want to look at it scientifically, you're going to go on the ground, go back in the cycle, you're going to turn into whatever, and so on and so forth. Spiritually, same thing. You're going to go back and recycle, right? So if we know life has an ending, why don't we dance all along?
It's a great point. I mean, we're getting deep now. This is totally different. See, I think my response to him too, I think listen to the last podcast, I think was more like, it was more, you're right, I don't like to think about the end. Because I think it's more, it's not, I think about all I would miss. Ash, you have children?
Not yet.
So it's different.
Hopefully this year.
Hopefully, awesome. So it's just so I will say this, Ash. When you have a child, you might slightly change your thought. And everybody, and those are parents that are out there, it's a different mentality. Like you have a very different mentality before, you have a different reason to live. Daniel's gave a really good point. So I don't think about morbidly, not because I'm morbid like what you're saying. It's more, I don't want to miss anything my kids are doing ever.
Like what? Give me an example.
Their smile when they wake up in the morning, man. You know what the most amazing thing in the world? And we were just having breakfast. Lunch with Daniel's son. Daniel's son, he gives his kids like like a kissy freaking storm. Kisses all over. The kid just smiling. Doesn't know where his dad's coming from. He's like giggling. And like, it seems so retarded to a lot of people out there, but if they have, it's small, but when they have that kid, that little moment that they just shared was awesome.
Right.
And that's
so
special.
Why not do that? If this was your last hour, this was your last day, you would do that.
That's exactly what I would do.
Right.
So talk like
right now you should do that too, because here's what happens with human beings. We lock ourselves in a road where it becomes a lose-lose for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
For example, you want to spend time with your children.
Yeah.
Right. Why don't you do that? Well, because I got to be at work. Now, guess what?
This is the average American.
This is, you don't understand it.
We created a life.
We spent a lot of time with our kids. That was what the last podcast is about, why we did that. Yeah. Right? But this is everybody else out there, and this is why you're so important to talk to right now. Because our whole mission is to say, hey guys, you're dying. You're not spending time doing the right thing.
I had a phone meeting with Ash last week. Was it last week or the week before? We were talking on the phone. And we were talking about the podcast, talking about some other stuff, and we were discussing and I was like, I listened. He has a TED Talk.
Yeah, I know. I started listening to it today.
I mean, you have over 60,000 views on there. That's a big platform.
Yeah.
And you're talking about it was, I know we talked about in Palm Springs, one of the big goals for you, like we found out. And I want a couple questions about that, but we were discussing and I was like, it's funny. No, it's not funny. What's interesting about you saying I'm going to die? I'm like, we're all going to die.
Your timeline's been cut shorter.
Right.
Yeah.
But as a society, we don't want to talk about it.
No,
it's very society. Don't talk about that.
Very good point. I talked to him.
I'm in Hawaii, I feel like.
Right.
And all I need to know is that, at some point we're going to yank you out. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, good. So I'm going to spend every single moment of my life doing exactly what I want to do. Most of the people I talk to are younger, right? They go to school, and I assume they go to school because they really think that that's the right thing for them, right? Yeah. But then they hate every single second of being in school. Mm-hmm. So that's a lose-lose. Don't put your mind in that prison. Yeah. If I go to school, I'm miserable because I don't want to be there. Yeah. If I don't go to school, then I say, I want to do that. A lot of people sit around. A lot of people sit around and watch Netflix, and they're like, I'm doing a lot of stuff I'm not supposed to do.
Why can't
why do you do it? If you watch Netflix, then be okay with watching Netflix. Don't complain. But if you don't, don't put yourself in a
And if you talk to any psychiatrist out there, psychologist, marriage family therapist, they're going to tell you this: having sad feelings is actually healthy and normal. Sad.
It is normal for them because that's how they. And it's not their fault.
Everybody.
Because here's the thing, guys.
For everybody,
that's how they take care of their families, right?
Right.
If I don't sit on their desk, on their bed as a patient...
No, here's what I'm saying. There's a study. They studied 70,000 people. They did a quick study, and they said, okay, and they asked them different emotions. They said, are you okay? How do you feel about this, and this, whatever. 60% of the people that were in the study said they feel guilty about being sad or having, a down moment. Mike and I were talking last week in the podcast. We're like, dude, you might get knocked down and say, fuck,
you can have a bad day.
I'm down for today.
And then say, that's not you. I'm going to stand back up and let's go.
Yeah. Right, but people are they feel guilty about, because I think what happens too is and don't get me wrong, being happy and positive, that's really important. That should be dominating your life. But dude, people will die in your life, or you're going to lose something, or someone's going to
you're just going to
put you in a down state.
You're going to have a bad day at work.
That's not
lose an account.
Exactly.
Shit.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal because the thing is, I don't think it's natural for you to quote unquote lose, right? What is losing in universe, right? Let's be real. You want to talk about fitness and natural? What's show me one star that it's lost.
One star that is lost.
Or how does a tree lose? What about the creek? What about it
dries out? It dries out. The dolphin gets poached.
If it dries out, it's not really losing, right? Because the water is evaporating, it's going somewhere else, it's probably growing plants somewhere else, right? Okay. So I don't know if that's losing, is it?
Could be.
So your perspective, scientifically speaking, though, for the past 13.7 billion years, our universe has not lost a single thing. Since the Big Bang, for the past 13.7 billion years, we've expanded as a universe, and we've actually picked up speed and have actually grown wider, too. Okay. So we've actually gained rather than losing anything, right? So there is no losing. Right. Losing is a concept, like the number 5. Number 5 can't pick that thing up. Number 5 can't slap you. It's a concept. Right. Losing is a concept.
It's a concept.
Right. Because if you can't lift that weight today, is that losing?
No. I've never care
you
about that.
dance for free. You just dance like you have no care at all.
Right.
That's
But Ash, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but there is winning and losing. I mean, you're talking to two former athletes. There's winning and losing. And I understand there's a choice, but at the same time, you have that day where you did not bring it that day and you lost, or something was better.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah,
I don't think there's winning and losing. I think it's just winning.
So so let's just say, because I coach a lot of very elite CrossFit athletes, and I've had them go to events, and I've had them win, I've had them go to events, I've had them lose, and I've always said you can learn so much from losing. Losing, they didn't get first, they lost the event, they got fourth, they got fifth.
Losing your virtual little digit game doesn't mean anything, because that same person that lost is also happier inside and healthier. She's not.
Are they healthier? Or are they healthier or happier?
As far as their fitness level?
As far as their fitness level, they are.
But that's a win.
Yes, that's a win, but some of these athletes that are going... So, we're going to say the Super Bowl's on Sunday. Everyone loves the Eagles, right? The Eagles are playing the Patriots. The Patriots always win. The Eagles have never won a Super Bowl in their life. They're going to play this Sunday, and let's just say they lose. Are they going to be happy?
I think they should be.
They're not going to be happy. Okay, go ask.
Let me explain.
Okay.
Every single one of you guys got
perspective
paid.
is very different.
Right?
Yeah.
Every single one of you guys got paid, right? And every single one of you happens to be born in the best time we've ever had possibly in the history of humanity, right? Okay. And every single one of you has enough trees outside right now to produce enough oxygen so you and I can actually be alive to even play this game, right? There are so many people that would even kill to be at that stadium on that day, and you happen to be there. So as far as I see it, it's totally winning. It's completely winning. We've never, like, losing is just a concept that doesn't fit in our physical world. Okay. It might fit in our virtual world, sure. You and I can say conditions: if you're less than 5'11", you're a loser, right? If you're banking on less than $1 million, because that's the virtual game we play,
it's essentially
it's just a concept.
Always looking at the positive. No, I get it. No, I get what you're saying.
Before you're...
It's a different...
Don't look at even the positive. Look at the truth. Just don't lie to yourself.
Just the truth.
Yeah.
Before you were... Let me ask you a question. Like, when you got... Because you have an interest... I mean, if you want to touch on that, but, like, you saw something like over 20 different surgeons be like, what's wrong with you? No one could figure it out. Can you explain that story real quick? I want to ask you...
So... Basically, one day I woke up, couldn't see from my right eye. I ignored it. I had massive headaches, ignored it, because I really wanted to make more and more money, because I really wanted to be popular and so on and so forth. So I really focused on how much money I have and what my Bank of America app on my cell phone says, because that was my net
So your perspective back then was winning was totally different.
100%.
Okay.
I was you want to talk about competition and competitors. I became number 5 in the entire nation jumping horses at age 16. I only made $1 million in 12-month span because somebody told me I can't do it, right? I was the crazy kid that really wanted to. I had a chip on my shoulder, and just because I was nobody, I always felt like I have something to prove.
You had to overcompensate.
So this story is important, Ash, because now all the viewers can understand why your perspective changed.
Right.
We need why.
Yeah.
Because I realized I've been winning all along, Mike.
Okay.
Right.
That's the thing.
But something caused you to understand that.
Yeah, so you couldn't see it right out.
So, and that's what I'm trying to do. You don't have to go through what I went through, right? Unfortunately, for many years of my life, I was molested sexually, right? By a close family member, right? Yeah. You don't have to go through that to be able to even love the worst person, quote unquote, in your life, right? You can say, hey, man, what you did, not cool. Don't ever do it again, because I got nothing to lose. And if you do it again, I'll make sure that problem is corrected. Right?
Yeah.
But I know what you went through. Your childhood was pretty similar to this. But this is where that cycle ends. Because I walk around complaining about nobody helped me out.
You were.
Nobody was there for me when I needed somebody.
Right.
And shame on me if I'm not there for somebody else. This trend ends right here, right now. You and I, with Daniel and everybody else, we're starting a new trend. We walk into stores... We say, ma'am, sir, you need some boxes moved? Let me help you. First, they look at us like crazy. What do you want? What do you mean? I just want to sweep your floor for free. Can I do that? They always ask why. Right. Tell them you're dying, because you are.
Sure.
Right? Okay. I'm dying. I've got nothing to lose. I made a free video for an organization that literally is turning around and is paying me $40,000 to make him a second follow-up video. And I told them, I don't want the money. This is too much. They said, no. We want you to get really creative with this. I don't deserve $40,000 for a 60-second video.
For a video. Right.
Little old foreigner me. I shouldn't even be able to survive in a lot of countries. This is the greatest country in the world. It's crazy. So I'm already winning, you see? If you think you're not winning, if you're Philadelphia linebacker, you think you're losing, get on your YouTube, type in children in Congo. And tell me you're losing now.
I got nothing. That's a good point. The point's fantastic. You know, it's just like, I understand.
It's not your fault. It's like I said, I'm not trying to teach anything new. I want people to unlearn some of these things that the society's put on you.
Yeah, societal norms.
Right. You were 4 or 5 years old at some point, right? You don't care about racism. You don't care, so-and-so is a girl, I'm a boy. Yeah. Like, you just loved. You just played. And that's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Take your life very, very, not seriously, but sincerely.
Yeah.
Notice these two words. They're very, very different. Nothing is serious in life, but you got to be very sincere. All we have to do is go back to when we were 3, 4, 5 years old and just play. Right. I don't have an office, but I have 30 employees. I don't have a job, but I make millions. Yeah. Right? I don't report to anybody, but I have many clients that depend on me and many employees. Right? But at the same time, I get to do this. I get to play all day long because there's nothing, there's so much safety in it, I'm never going to lose.
It's a very similar concept. Tim Gover has a very similar concept. He talks about when you're a child, you're free and you're energetic and you love and you just do whatever. And then we as parents or society essentially beat that out of you.
Yeah. Sure.
And make you conform to society and be this person that you're really not. You were that child. That's who the person you really are. That's the animal you really were. But
well, here's what I'm saying. Yeah. I also don't have the answers, right? And I'm not saying everybody did it wrong. I'm just saying everybody chose one model.
Yeah.
Einstein came out with one thing, right? Yeah. Edison came out with one thing, and everything was based on it. If Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak didn't come out with iPhones, we would have been so different, right? Yeah. That's just one model.
Yeah.
I am not saying I have the model either. I'm saying you're free to do whatever the hell you want. Mm-hmm. So start dancing, start living your life. Yeah. Sit around and figure out what you want.
It's funny you're saying. I was watching a video that you did at our event.
I watched that.
And then you're like, he's like, I want to be my own boss. He's like, you are your own boss. You can get up and walk out of here right now.
You told me that story before. It's
like you are your own boss.
It's a very, very, very good story. I was like, you just laugh.
Especially if you live in America. There's so many other countries that if I go out there and say, oh, screw the president, I would get assassinated on the spot.
Yeah, but here...
You can name every congressman and woman here and say whatever you want about it. At worst, somebody's going to look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
So true.
You can post it on social media, too. Right?
Millions and millions of people would see it. The thing is, we need to think for ourselves, right? Everybody's got an agenda, right? Yeah. When people talk about water crisis, 75% of our entire planet is water, right? Yeah. So I get what you're saying from your perspective, but don't lie to yourself. Let's be real, right? It's not that we don't have water, we're running out of water. We're just too lazy to really want to do the work, right? But just that's what it takes. Because even 20 years ago...
You're right. No, he's right. I mean, we talked about California Talk about California being in the drought, but all we really need to do is go into the ocean and turn the salt water into fresh water, and we're good.
You know how stupid we sound? We're like literally by the water, and we say, "Oh, we're in a drought."
We're in a drought where there's ocean all around us. Yeah, no, it's a good point. No.
People say, "Oh, I can't make money." Oh, really? On Craigslist, there are a ton of people right now that are giving things away for free because they don't have room. They had a stroller in their house that they don't need.
Yeah.
Go pick those up, relist them back on Craigslist for $5. And you tell me you can't make money? Go on YouTube right now. Type in, how do I become a millionaire? Go on YouTube right now. Type in, how do I make money off of Instagram?
It's so funny. We were talking about this too. Is you got like a psychology degree from Yale online.
For free.
Google it. If you type in Yale online courses for free, Harvard actually has a bunch too.
Really?
Yeah. Everything's there, man. Like, you go to irs.gov, they tell you how to avoid taxes. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, you tell me I lose? No, I can't lose.
I had no idea. This is amazing.
Well,
now I'm going to Google all these things.
You should. Why not? It's all there.
Oh, I had no idea.
The first thing you should Google is unrealized gains.
Unrealized gains.
Yeah. Okay. That's like a big topic. Yes. But it's right there, right? So if you do that, there could be $1,000 difference every month at the end of your day. Right. I'm a foreigner. I was not supposed to know this game.
Right.
I just came from an outside point of view. I studied the game. I was like, oh, that's how you score.
Let me ask you a quick question, because I've heard this statistic a few times, but I think it's like if you're not born in the U.S., it's something like you're 4 times more likely to be wealthy or millionaire here. Do you think coming from, all around, whatever, because I don't know really where you're from all over, but you've been traveled, but do you think coming from there...
Here's the thing.
Because people
go
to America, it's different.
I don't. And that's one of the reasons I hesitate to tell my story. Because people look at me, you, Mike, and everybody else. They're like, hey, I need to be just like them for me to have the same outcome.
Right.
But that's your brain playing a game on you, right? That's perception. If you need to pee and every time you look up there's a cloud over your head, it's got nothing to do with it. Right? It's just your brain picking up the wrong pattern, right? Because that's all your brain does. Yeah, but if I say 1, 2, 3, you pick that up, right? So here's what I want to try to tell you. What are borders? What are countries? Literally, 2 people decided that we want to put one wire down on the ground. Exactly. Now, if you're on the other side, you're Mexican. Now, if I'm on this side, I've never met a stranger in my life. I go around the world, and I meet the same people over and over again. Every single one of us is struggling with insecurities, anxiety. Am I good enough?
It's funny you say that. When I was playing football overseas, same with you, it was our first real exposure of just being out of the country,
out of the country, and, living.
I was like, oh, they're just like us.
They're just like us. Everyone's the exact same.
Everyone's the same.
Nothing was different.
Yeah. Same desires, same insecurities.
Nothing has changed either. Because here's the thing: people talk about technology in my world, and they talk about fitness. Right? I want to bring everything back to fitness. They say, "Oh yeah, kids are not playing football no more because they're always playing video games and so on and so forth." Now, notice the trend with even video games. First, tell me if I'm wrong. They were 2D. Then they got some color. Then they became 3D. Then we've actually made them better and better and better and faster, making more physical, right? Then we actually made it virtual. Now we're going to give you a ball. Now we're going to make you to a point that you can actually see a hologram. You know what the problem is with hologram, though? You can't touch it, right? So what happens with holograms, at some point, we're going to create the technology that you can also get the sensation as if you're touching it, right? So here's what I want to say. You get to that point, and you realize you were here all along. Because if your virtual reality is so realistic that you feel like you're actually throwing the ball, God damn it, go outside and throw the ball.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to get to the point that esports came around and just blew up, because that's what happened. Esports, video games, is massive. It's one of the biggest growing industries in the world.
It is $1 billion.
It's $1 billion business. Sells out the Staples Center for the championships.
Sure.
I mean, it's insane.
There's a dude that I know that we work with. He's a client of our firm, and he makes $100,000 every time. And he lives up in. He's like 16, 17.
Yeah.
Every time we went to competition, it's $100,000.
Yeah, $100,000.
There's this gorgeous, big, beautiful house up in wherever. It's like,
there's also colleges that are giving scholarships now for their esports team.
Oh yeah,
insane what that's turned into.
It's funny because every single one of us thinks still the same thing, right? We still feel the same. People sometimes tell me, "Hey, how does it feel to be a millionaire?" So the same exactly what you feel right now.
It's just digits.
It's like, no, even at that point. Last week I was sitting across the desk from a gentleman who was worth $2 billion. And in the middle of the conversation, I caught ourselves talking about his concern about the economic downturn. I just started busting up inside. It's like, sir, you have enough resources for many generations. You worry about the downturn of the economy, right? So we still have the same things. We still want validation. We still have the same, end of the day, I want to go home to my girl or my boy and so on and so forth. I still want to feel loved. I still want to feel included.
Yeah.
We're not that different after all, you know?
No, and like, I know you don't want to talk about your story, but I'm going to pull it out of you because I think it's really important.
Yeah.
So I want you to go, because I do want to ask a couple questions. So go back to that change of perspective, because nobody comes out of the ground, not very rarely they come out of the ground and think the way you're thinking. It's a different perspective, right? Maybe they do, and then it's changed, and there's something drastic or something happens. So go back real quick, step into that for me. So you have pain in your right eye, right? And then so you said you went to go see it.
I went to 23 different surgeons. I spent an entire year trying to figure out how to fix myself, right? Trying to figure out how to live a little bit longer.
So what did they tell you exactly?
So which time? Because the diagnosis was changed half a dozen times. They first thought it was one thing, then they were like, oh, whoa, it's not that. Let's change the treatment and so on and so forth. So it was just a little bit of a mess, right? So I had too much faith in the medical world. I felt like I'd just go show up. They're high-paying, doctors. They probably know what's wrong with me. They can fix me up, and I can get back out there making more money, right? Mm-hmm. But at some point, I just realized that.
And how old were you?
So at this time, I'm 27.
You're 27.
27.
So you're 27. You've been building up this big marketing company.
Became a multi-millionaire at age 26, 27, basically. I think the universe was like, you think you're so good at this entrepreneurship game that you think you've made it, you might not even get the chance to play this life game, let alone your little entrepreneurship game inside this life game, right?
Right, so you're 26, and like any other 26-year-old with a lot of money, you're probably, I don't know what you're blowing it, like what you're spending, probably
crazy stuff, right?
Going nuts.
Cars, things, like, literally, I would listen to, like, rap songs, and it would get inspired to be like, yeah, just throw it in the bag, right? That kind of an attitude, right?
Right. Anything.
Completely wasteful, right?
Totally wasteful,
right?
Okay, so then you start, and like most 26, like that's why I was laughing about professional athletes. They're 22, they sign a multi-million-dollar contract. It's like
and people wonder why they have issues why they go broke. Yeah.
So okay, so you're 26, 27. You're in, and then what would they tell you exactly? They're like,
so 23 different people, right? There are so many different people. At some point, the group of surgeons was in the room. They pulled me in. They were like, "Look, we don't know what's wrong with you. We have no idea. The only thing we can do is inject you with a bunch of steroids just to see if the growth of whatever's in your brain, whatever those three things are that are growing, to see if it will stop it." And that's when I was just like, no, like how much time do I have? If this is my last days, I don't want to be living there like, like that's not how our grandparents died. That's not like I want to be at home with everybody else if I'm going to die, right? So the first thing was like, how much time do I have? Let me do a couple of good things, because I felt guilty about how much I was like about my personal gain, right? I started studying astronomy.
So you felt guilt all of a sudden. So like all of a sudden you're like, I'm making all this income. I feel guilty about it.
Well, not guilt. I felt like I did everything everybody told me to do. Right. I was a good kid, right? So this is maybe for some people that are the good kids, right? So I was the good kid. I had decent grades. I hated school. I hate working. You guys talked about this. So I was just like everybody else. Yeah, right. I wasn't super smart, but I felt like people thought I was smart, so I had to live up to the standard and everything else. So it was a lot of these weird things going in my head and not knowing who I was and what I wanted to do or what I was doing here on Earth, so to speak, right? And through this journey, I completely found myself, I feel like. And I feel like if you really look at this from a holistic point of view, not so much you, like, because here's the thing. Yeah. You can look at yourself like a drop in the ocean, right? Or you can look at yourself as the ocean, right? The further and further I got away from it, I realized that if I lose my ego, if I really drop this body thing that I attach to myself so much, right, then it's not that big of a deal, right? Then I don't have to feel the way I do at that point. Let me give you an example. Let's say, Mike, you have a car. Yeah. If that car belongs to you, who's the owner?
I.
Okay. Now, help me out here. Let's consider a model. You say my hand, my eyes, my legs, my brain, my soul. Who's this my guy or my gal you keep talking about?
Me. Who's me?
So my belief is a little bit closer to the Buddhism belief. I feel like we have a body, but we also have an awareness, right? If you look at yourself in that point of view, you will never have any issues. Because you can be, I was fighting, let's say, with my wife.
It's very like, it's almost like Nelson Mandela. Reminds me of Nelson Mandela. He was in prison for like, it was like 18 or 20 years, however long it was. But his mind never changed. Like, I wasn't in prison. My body was in prison. And that perspective on everything can really change it. Exactly, you're not attaching yourself so much to where your situation is currently,
right?
Which you can mentally,
And sometimes people say, "Oh no, that's spiritual stuff. I don't want to do it." It's like, no. I was never spiritual. I was actually a scientist, and here's what the science says: if there's a banana here and you're here, you say, "This is me. This is the banana." Well, what happens 2 seconds later when you eat that banana? Where are you now?
The banana's inside me.
So I'm more interested in the real you, Mike. I could care less about the collection of stuff you've been eating, right? Okay. I'm interested in who you really are and how you're living life. I stopped asking people, how are you doing? Because I felt like everybody was always complaining.
Yeah. You
asked, how are you living now?
How are you doing? They're still complaining.
I talk about this with my wife a lot. I'm always like, if you're in a really good mood, people ask you what's going on.
Right. Yeah, they want to know what's wrong. Why are you happy?
What's up today?
What's up? Why are you happy?
Yeah, versus like if you're in a down mood, nobody asks you what's up, or it's expected. Yeah,
what's funny is I actually am introverted as well, and I tend to be really quiet. Right. I'll just be really quiet. I'll be in the gym and I'll be silent. And I guess I have this chronic asshole face if I'm like that. So I'll just be like, "What's wrong with you today, man? You okay? Everything good?"
I know
completely fine.
Right.
I'm completely fine. There's nothing wrong.
I've never been
I'm actually just chilling. I'm just sitting here staring up and
show it to my wife. You remember the last episode? You were like, "On my birthday, I don't want to just leave me alone." I was like, "Christy, look, that's weird. There are other people like me too."
Dude, I love that.
The thing's like, there's so much for me to figure out in here that I really want to kind of dig deeper, right? Yeah. I love my connection with other people, right? But I also feel like if you're listening to this, go sit on a rock right now. Go figure out what you want to do right now and do just that. Because the truth of the matter is you're going to die, right? Yeah. Here's what I recommend. 2 things, because we're on this podcast. Number 1, make sure you prioritize your health first. Because if this multi-billion-dollar body is not there, guess what? You can't play this game. Right? Yeah. So take care of this first. Make sure you're eating well, make sure you're exercising well, make sure you get whatever you need to get inside your body. Yeah. So because it's not that hard, right? I mean, if you feed it crap, you're gonna get crap. That's just how it works, right? Number 2, don't trap yourself inside your head. This game is way easier than you think. You have YouTube, you have Google. Yeah. Go on there right now. Search, how do I save taxes? How do I live off the planet for free? How do I grow my own plants without paying a dime? All this stuff is there.
Right. Yeah. So I'm still going to go back to your story because I'm going to put it back in. Sorry, I have to. Okay, so anyway, because that perspective changes, I think it's so important for people, and it's I think there's a lot of teaching lessons in this. So obviously that finishes up. They're like, dude, you could die in 6 months, or you can live for this for a while. Right. So I remember you told me something that you did over with Northridge. Mm-hmm. When you're like, you know what, I need to start
a scholarship fund
and giving back. Like, where did that come from? Where you're like, was that guilt? Was that guilt that caused that? Like, what?
No, it was.
I need to go.
It was me not trying to disturb the ecosystem, right? So, for example, as I was figuring out more about life, I felt like if I was a tree and I wanted to suck the entire soil dry, other trees around me would die, right? And that doesn't help me, because if they died, then collectively we're not driving enough water up to the surface, and I'm going to die too. It just doesn't work that way. Okay. But if I work with them as an ecosystem, I can survive better. So the first thing I did, I figured that I don't have any confidence at all. So how the hell is it that now I can negotiate all these contracts and sales?
Because you don't care.
Well, even this was before my sickness and so on and so forth. So one of the things that I thought, I was like, the school didn't do so much for me academically, because I was a schoolboy type of thing, because I was a book smart guy. Right. I just wanted to do enough to get away, and I actually ended up with, I think it was a 3-point GPA, but it was 3.8 was because I knew how to take tests, right? Not that study, right? Yeah. That's why we vibe all the time. But so what I did, I started a scholarship at CSUN. I wanted to have a way to let these students know that, hey, look, I was broke, went to CSUN, came back, and actually made it. Right. So you can do it too, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to let people know that, hey, before I die, I've accumulated so much knowledge and so much wealth because I was so nerdy. I would read everything on IRS. I would read every single bill that would come out. Right. I would read everything I could possibly find about a human brain and happiness and wealth and so on and so forth, right? You can Google the best savings account. You can Google the best credit cards, right? All this stuff is there. Yep. So once I had all that, I was like, how do I give this knowledge to somebody else? Right. How do I do enough also for other people? Because when I die, my wife's still going to be around, right? At that time, she was my girlfriend. So if I die, my family's going to be around. If I help out a couple of guys just enough, and I die, my wife is, let's say, pregnant on the freeway. She calls one of you guys and says, yo, I'm stuck on the freeway. Remember Ash? Yeah. I'm Ash's wife. Can you help me out? Yeah. If I've done enough for you, you might. Right? There's a chance. You might consider that. If I haven't, you're like, who? I don't want to do that. Because I don't feel like I've resolved
Here's what's really interesting about that perspective is, like when we were talking about this in the last podcast, and whenever I think about if it's my last days, I have 6 months to live. I get very selfish, right? That's my first inclination is like, well, F everything else. I'm gonna go do me, and I think that's freaking normal, right? I think it's totally normal. Sure. you were like, I'm going to go do this, and then for everybody else.
Well, not so much.
Not so much?
Because I was also doing it for me, too.
Okay.
Because the day you die, the moment you guys die, I think a lot of people miss this, right? Here's the fact. When you die, your heart stops beating, right? Mm-hmm. But there's still blood in your veins and still enough oxygen for your brain to be alive, right? So now you start thinking. And at that moment, the concept of time, the rotations around Earth and Sun and so on and so forth, become useless because they're just concepts. Mm-hmm. So that's heaven and hell, right?
Yeah.
If you've done enough in your life that you're like, I'm good. I've done enough. Thank you very much. Great journey. And I'm good, right? But if you're like, oh man, I wish I had one more laugh with my mom. I wish I had lifted one more weight. I wish I had one more dollar and whatever, you're going to live.
But here's something that makes me think about that is whenever I think about, and this is when people, when I talk about getting emotionally focused on what you want, right? Because it takes emotion. It takes more than logic, it takes emotion, right? Sure. But here's a major thing. I feel like when, for example, when do you feel, when someone's born, what do they tell you first? When you first go into it, are you doing do an exam for your wife's pregnant, you do a whatever the hell they're called, and they say, I hear the what? Ultrasound.
The heartbeat.
The heartbeat, right? Mm-hmm. When somebody dies, what's the last thing to go?
Heartbeat.
It's their heart.
Yeah.
Right. But everyone, it's just, you're talking about so focused on their head, and you might go brain dead, but still be alive.
Sure. Right.
Because your heartbeat is everything. And ultimately, and kind of leading what you're talking about is, it's the emotion. It's the feeling of that feeling. The emotions, I think, is driven from your heart. Everyone gets so stuck in their head, but your life is lived through here.
Right.
It's lived through your a heartbeat, a pulse, like your desires, your wants, all the emotions. That's the juice of life.
Right. You just want to be happy, right? So go out there, figure it out on your own, figure out what makes you happy, and just do that. And there's no tomorrow, there's no yesterday. It's just right here, right now. Like, well, no, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do whatever, like, when I have that. Like, no. When you have $1 versus when you have $1,000 in your account, you're not going to feel any difference. No. If you're not donating right now, you're also not going to donate when you have $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like if you're not going to give a penny out of $1, you're not going to give $1 million out of $100 million.
Right. If you're not working out today, you're not going to work out tomorrow.
When you're in shape.
Yeah. Nope. Right. When you have the money or when you see a motivation.
When I feel healthy, I'll start eating healthier.
Right. When I have the money, I'll start eating healthy.
I get the most common. I'll start CrossFit when I get myself ready to do CrossFit at this other place.
Right.
That doesn't work that way.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we're pretty much out of time. On that note, it was awesome.
Is there any questions on there?
There were quite a few questions actually that went down. But
I'll respond to people.
Yeah, offline.
Direct message to people.
Other than that, but we can always do that again.
Thank you guys for choosing to spend your time with us. We really, really appreciate it. Hopefully this dude's conversation also benefited you guys as well.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys.